First Timothy 1 verse 5. Now the end of the commandment is charity out of a pure heart, a good conscience, and faith unfeigned. Following yesterday's sharing, we can solve these puzzles. It comes from our faith. I made an extensive choice. You can see now, like the movie Ready Player One. Everyone pays their dues, after careful study and observation, and guess the creator of Oasis, the mindset of setting 3 puzzles. When they interpret it, they get Oasis. Relatively speaking, in this process, do these people know the founder better than anyone else? In fact, the founder designed these puzzles, for people to understand his past and his mentality. It sets the stage for when people get to know him, and cherish the game to a certain level, can match, and finally solve the puzzle. He used the same method. Whether it makes sense or not, if people can interpret it, he sent the Oasis. I don't care about the rationality of it. But what about God? To solve his riddles. Only when we match his character, intelligence, strategy, tactics, and mind can we do so. In wisdom or in everything, if you think hard enough to listen to our message, there is absolutely no way for people to overthrow that. Unless you don't listen at all. Basically, any attempt to overturn the information we share, these are idiots and certain death. In the eyes of God, they must be worse than beasts. By reason and everything, you will see that we have highly crazy confirmation. Because God has laid down his qualification in it, if you can match the puzzle. For this qualification, not only do you need to have a lot of knowledge, there must also be an understanding of the revelation of the Bible and the progression of God's control. Because of our level of control over God, like the teachings of the 10 kings, the outside church did not even dream of it. Only when we reach it can we see it. As one reveal after another comes out, the puzzles literally speak to us, to confirm that what we share is right, that is, for 794 is really interesting, and that's what it means. For example, since Pastor Wind came to the Lord, every year on September 1st, God really does send birthday gifts. That's how the puzzles speak to us. Even though it's all a puzzle, but in terms of choice, what others make in their faith is just a small choice, and our choices are extensive, put our future, our life, our property. Only by choosing this way can we achieve it. Even as I said, one of the hardest things is that your character has to match. In addition, wisdom has to be matched. And then, in terms of revelation, the last mystery has to be solved. By now, if we don't know the actual existence of Freemasons and the 10 kings, and why they exist, so, how can the puzzle be solved now? It can't be solved at all. However, we have solved one puzzle after another in our early years, so, to be able to go in there and understand. Like I said, it would be reasonable to say that Freemasons in the past were all about conspiracy theories. Because if you value the existence of this world above all else, if happiness, well-being, abundance, peace, and safety are the most important, in this way, what they do is a conspiracy theory. But if you look at God's judgment and plan, what you sow, what you reap. So, Freemasons are doing God's will. Just as the Israelites did not keep the Sabbath, God used Babylon to judge them. Obviously, Babylon must have been raised by God, which is accurate. Through the ages, Rome's destruction of Israel was also 100% accurate. So, who's in charge? Who's in control? Are they conspiracy theories? And are the forces that led to their rise in conspiracy theories? If the goal is to keep Israel alive, that's a conspiracy theory. But from the point of view of God's control and judgment, that's not a conspiracy theory, they are spokespersons or authorized to do so. So, as you can see, God has put us in this virtual game, everyone's choice is different. Like Ready Player One, when the player wins the game and solves all the puzzles, he can have Oasis and be in charge. So do we, apparently. In fact, by the time we get to the end of the puzzle, it is God who speaks to the ruler of this world. That is the common message now. Don't you think God doesn't just talk to our church? He said, "You are the ruler of this world. You can time travel," and other common messages, talk to us. Each conversation also uses the puzzles we solved earlier. So, even the common messages that we tell are evolving. As we solve the puzzle, it keeps evolving. About who we are, at first, known only as we are. The first Zion message found 4794, when sharing at the Royal View Hotel, everything we're talking about is related to this number. At that time, we felt that God acknowledged us, we are a part of God's plan. When we were told that we were 4 horses, we discovered Pegasus, and its main star happens to be 4794, and when I keep sharing it, it gets crazier and crazier. Those conversations have acknowledged us from God, to confirm a group of kings and who we will be. Although this is slowly changing, but looking back at the confirmation from the beginning to the present, it's totally different now. For example, God brings out my birthday. Often, the date of my birthday is stamped by the power of judgment. In this change, we see the puzzle we solved. As a result, we do have more in God's eyes, the power we deserve. About the existence of this world, it has more and more evidence of itself. At a particular stage, when we talk about Back to the Future, as you can see, even the movies are in our hands. 1 Timothy 1 verse 5. Now the end of the commandment is charity out of a pure heart, a good conscience, and faith unfeigned.
When our friends turn to strangers and become friends no longer, I shall dwell in the Lord, for He will always be there, even when we are shunned by young brothers and sisters. Have faith in the Lord, we'll see His face everywhere. Have faith in the Lord, we'll see His face everywhere.